For over a decade, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were the heart of Golden State's dynasty. The Splash Brothers became one of the most influential duos in NBA history. So when Steph was once asked about Klay entering free agency, his response made it clear how difficult it was to imagine the Warriors without his longtime running mate.
How confident are you that he will be back next season?
I can never see myself, not with those two guys.
Bigger question out of the way earlier, just how do you view your future with the Warriors heading into this offseason that feels obviously pretty unknown?
We don't want to talk about the season first, we want to talk about the future. A lot of games played, man. That was a pretty big accomplishment. What's up with y'all not wanting to live in the present, bro? It's ridiculous.
That reality started becoming possible on April 16, 2024. Golden State had just been eliminated by the Sacramento Kings, and Klay stayed on the court for a little longer, taking in the arena and the fans around him. He had spent years building the Warriors' dynasty alongside Steph, and although nobody knew it for certain that night, it turned out to be his final game in a Golden State uniform. A few months later, Klay officially moved on and joined the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, whether you play basketball or work in the corporate world or whatever industry, sometimes change just can spur greatness, and a new change of scenery can do wonders. And I'm very grateful for my time at Golden State. But I just felt like, moving on could just re-energize me and do something special for the rest of my career.
Klay had been open about needing a fresh environment and a chance to rediscover his energy. Steph Curry and Draymond Green also expressed happiness for him, understanding that his role in Golden State had changed significantly from his prime. They wanted to see him find that joy again in Dallas. Still, the possibility of Klay eventually facing his former team created plenty of emotion before that matchup even happened.
What do you think Tuesday is going to be like?
I don't know, actually. We've had homecomings before, but nothing like this with the level of impact and the brand of Klay in the Bay Area is something that I don't know if any word or way I explain it will do it justice.
When Klay finally returned to the Bay Area, Warriors fans made their feelings obvious. They showed him that he was still appreciated and that Oakland would always be home. Klay became emotional while talking about being back, including the memories that came rushing back as he drove through Oakland during his first trip back to the Bay.
What were you able to do in the Bay Area?
I went and drove by my old neighborhood, and I was able to go to my friend's house in Oakland, Steph, and have a great meal. Drove by Oracle, drove by downtown Oakland, and it was very surreal because I was 21 years old when I came here, and to see the city and the town is always special.
But that wasn't necessarily the end of the story. Reports later surfaced suggesting Klay could potentially receive a buyout in Dallas and possibly return to Golden State. Instead, he chose Miami, embracing the opportunity to join a team built around Giannis and Bam Adebayo.
Let me tell you, man, tore everything. Still got a mountain to climb. About to pull up on my boy Fat Tony. You know what I'm saying? Gonna play some chess. I'm out here in the Lincoln, just living my best summer life as a 4-time NBA champion, baby. Never gets old. Yes, I'm hungry for 5. joints just feel good being out here with this climate. I can't wait to meet staff, my co-workers, the executives, trying new cuisines, getting some really good local food, and get to work. I was always here in passing, so it's nice to be playing it, just being able to experience.
That decision also ties directly into a much larger conversation surrounding Steph Curry and the future of Golden State. There have been reports suggesting that Curry and the Warriors may not be completely aligned on where the franchise is headed, and that uncertainty makes the situation even more interesting. For years, Steph has been the unquestioned face of the organization, but the NBA landscape changes quickly. If Miami continues making aggressive moves, the possibility of Curry eventually joining the Heat becomes a fascinating scenario to consider. Steph and Giannis Antetokounmpo have also maintained a strong relationship over the years, and there have been moments when the two have talked about what it might look like to share the floor. Now imagine that possibility becoming real. Miami already has Klay Thompson, giving Steph a familiar teammate and one of the most recognizable shooting partners in NBA history. Add Tim Hardaway Jr. as another perimeter scoring option, Andrew Wiggins on the wing, and Bam Adebayo controlling the interior, and suddenly the Heat would have a lineup that could create major problems for opposing defenses. And that's where the conversation gets really interesting. Steph wouldn't simply be joining another team. He would potentially be stepping into a completely different chapter of his career while still having the chance to compete for another championship. Golden State would have to decide whether keeping its franchise icon for the remainder of his career is more important than giving him an opportunity to chase another title somewhere else. Steph has represented the Warriors for roughly 2 decades. He's been through the rebuilding years, the championships, the injuries, the roster changes, and everything in between. Because of that history, moving him would obviously be an enormous decision for the organization. But if Golden State eventually determines that the current roster doesn't have enough firepower to make another legitimate championship run, the possibility of allowing Steph to pursue a 5th title could at least become part of the conversation. Now picture what the playoffs could look like if this actually happened. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson reunited in Miami would already be one of the biggest NBA storylines imaginable. Then add the possibility of them eventually facing LeBron James and the Philadelphia 76ers. That matchup wouldn't just be huge on the basketball court, it would be massive from a television and entertainment perspective as well, because it would bring together some of the most recognizable stars of this generation in one playoff series. But there is another side to this argument. The concern is that Golden State's championship ceiling may be limited, even if Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are both healthy and playing at a high level. The Warriors could still be competitive, but some believe their realistic outcome might be a play-in spot or a lower playoff seed rather than a legitimate championship run. And if that's where the team ultimately ends up, the front office would have to ask itself a difficult question. Is simply making the playoffs enough? Or should the organization start thinking about what gives Steph the best chance to compete for another championship? Because that's really what this entire hypothetical comes down to. Steph Curry has already accomplished almost everything a player can accomplish in Golden State. If another opportunity comes along that could put him in position to seriously compete for another title, would the Warriors actually consider letting him explore it? And just as importantly, would Steph even want to leave the only NBA home he's ever known? There are still far too many questions to know whether anything like this could actually happen. But with Miami making moves, Klay already in the picture, and Steph's future in Golden State becoming a topic of discussion, the hypothetical is certainly worth watching. So what do you think? Could Steph Curry actually end up in Miami one day, or is Golden State where he'll finish his career? Would reuniting Steph and Klay make the Heat an instant championship threat? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the next update. Until next time, peace.